You are 12 years old, and your own government is trying to starve you to death. This is the Spartan paradox. To become the world's greatest shield, you must first become its most proficient shadow. The state gives you just enough calories to keep your heart beating, but never enough to stop the tremors in your hands. You have two choices. You can follow the law, remain virtuous, and watch your muscles wither until you are too weak to lift a hoplite spear. Or you can become a predator. You can break into the storehouses, slit the throats of the helots' livestock, and lie to the faces of the gods themselves. To be a good man in Sparta is to be a corpse. To be a warrior, you must first learn to be a criminal. This was the Agoge's darkest lesson. The path to ultimate honor was paved with systematic, state-mandated sin. The sound of the heavy oak door slamming shut behind you isn't just noise, it's a physical blow. It's the sound of childhood ending. It's the sound of a latch clicking into place, severing you from your mother's voice, the smell of hearth fire, and the soft touch of a warm bed. From this moment on, you belong to the state. You belong to the dust. You stand in the dirt of the barracks, and the first thing you notice is the weight of your new life. Or rather, the lack of it. They strip you of your tunic and hand you a single, coarse wool cloak. It is rough spun from the hair of cheap goats, and it feels like 1,000 tiny needles against your skin. This is your only garment for the year. It will be your blanket in the winter when the frost turns the Laconian soil into jagged glass, and it will be your sweat-soaked shroud in the blistering heat of the summer. But the itch of the wool is nothing compared to the void opening up inside your gut. In Sparta, they don't want you comfortable. Comfort is a slow poison. It makes the mind fat. It makes the spirit soft. The overseer's men with eyes like flint and hearts like whetstones believe that a full stomach is a lazy stomach. So, they give you a ration that is an insult to the biology of a growing boy. They hand you a bowl of black broth. It's a vile, gray slurry of boiled pig's blood, salt, and vinegar. It tastes like copper and bitterness. It smells like a slaughterhouse floor at noon. You finish it in 3 gulps, and the hunger doesn't go away. It deepens. This is the systemic starvation of the Agoge. It isn't a result of poverty. Sparta is rich with the spoils of war. It is a calculated, cold-blooded design. By keeping you on the razor's edge of malnutrition, the state is performing a dark alchemy on your brain. When you are starving, your senses don't dull. They sharpen to a terrifying, predatory point. Listen. You can hear the rustle of a mouse in the thatch 50 yards away. Smell. You can catch the scent of the officer's roasted meat from across the compound, and it makes your jaw ache with a phantom hunger. Your mind, once occupied with games and stories, is now a cold-blooded machine dedicated to a singular task: acquisition. The starvation is the forge. The hunger is the hammer. They're beating the civilian out of you, thinning your blood until all that remains is the desperate, lean instinct of a wolf. They want you tall. Yes, they believe a lean body grows longer, more lithe, whereas a well-fed body grows thick and sluggish. But more than that, they want you dangerous. You lie down on your bed of reeds, which you had to snap by hand from the banks of the Euphrates River. The reeds are sharp. They poke through your thin cloak and bite into your ribs. Your stomach growls, a hollow, echoing sound in the dark barracks. It's a physical pain now, a cramp that twists your insides like a wet rag. You realize, with a clarity that only comes when the body is eating itself, that the men who run this place aren't going to feed you. They're waiting for you to realize that the world is a larder, and the only thing standing between you and survival is the courage to take what isn't yours. The darkness of the barracks is filled with the sound of 60 other boys, all breathing in rhythm, all feeling that same gnawing vacuum in their midsections. No one cries. If you cry, you're beaten. You just lie there, feeling the rough wool of your cloak, smelling the mud on your feet, and listening to the scream of your own hunger. Tomorrow, you won't be looking for a lesson. You'll be looking for a target. The sun drags itself over the jagged peaks of Mount Tegetos, and you wake up with your ribs glued to your spine. The hunger isn't a cramp anymore. It is a presence. It sits on your chest like a goblin, pressing the air out of your lungs. You look at the other boys in the barracks. Their eyes are sunken, rimmed with dark circles that look like bruises. They look like corpses that haven't figured out they're dead. But you aren't dead. You are a Spartan. And Spartans do not beg. They take. The transition happens slowly, then all at once. You stop looking at the world as a boy looks at a home. You start looking at it as a wolf looks at a fold. The city of Sparta, the orderly rows of houses, the bustling agora, the smoke rising from the Crypteia mess halls ceases to be your community. It becomes your hunting ground. It becomes the zone. The overseers, the paidonomos, watch you from the edge of the training field. They hold their canes of olive wood, tapping them rhythmically against their greaves. They don't hand you rations. They hand you a mission. They nod toward the smoke drifting from the common mess halls, where the adult warriors, the homoioi, are laughing and tearing into roasted pork. If you are hungry, the whipmaster growls, his voice like gravel grinding on slate, go eat. But if I see you, if I hear you, you will wish you had starved. This is the curriculum. There are no textbooks. There are no lectures on the theory of stealth. There's only the objective and the obstacle. The objective is survival. The obstacle is the entire adult population of Lacedaemon. You wait for the sun to die. Night is the great equalizer. It is the cloak that the state won't give you. You strip off your rough wool tunic. It catches on brambles. It makes noise. You go naked. You rub mud into your pale skin, dulling the shine of sweat, turning yourself into a shadow of the earth itself. You check the wind. You need it blowing toward you, carrying the scent of the dogs away from your approach. You slip out of the barracks. The ground is littered with dry leaves and brittle twigs. Every step is a gamble. If you snap a twig, the sound is a gunshot in the silence. You learn to walk not heel to toe, but on the outside blade of your foot, rolling the weight inward, feeling the ground before you commit your weight. You become liquid. You become vapor. You head for the Crypteia. The smell hits you first acrid wine, wood smoke, and the heavy greasy scent of meat. It makes your mouth flood with saliva, so much you have to swallow constantly to keep from choking. You are not just a thief. You are a spy behind enemy lines. This is the brilliance of the Agoge's cruelty. By forcing you to steal from your own people, they are teaching you the most vital skill of ancient warfare: logistics and infiltration. A soldier who waits for a supply wagon is a dead soldier. A warrior who can feed himself from the enemy's land is an immortal engine of war. You reach the perimeter wall of the mess hall. It's high, built of rough-hewn stone. You don't jump. Jumping is loud. You climb. You jam your toes into the cracks, your calloused fingers finding purchase in the mortar. You pull yourself up, muscle fibers screaming, silently cursing the weakness in your arms caused by the lack of food. You crest the wall. Below you, the fires flicker. The adult warriors are there. These are the men you aspire to be. They are giants. Scars map their arms. They are drinking deep cups of wine, boasting of battles at Messenia, of helots put to the sword. They are relaxed. They are confident. They are the enemy. You drop into the shadows of the courtyard. You breathe through your mouth to silence the whistle of your nose. You move behind a stack of amphorae. A slave walks past, carrying a basket of figs. He is 3 feet away. If he turns his head, you are finished. If he spots you, he won't just yell. He will strike. And if you strike back, you die. A Spartan boy raising a hand against an adult or a servant of the state is a capital offense. You must be a ghost. You wait. Patience is the hardest weapon to master. The hunger screams at you to go, but the discipline clamps down on your legs. You wait for the laughter to rise, for a song to start, for the noise of the feast to mask your movement. Now, you dart forward. You don't run. You flow. You reach the long table where the surplus is stacked. Your hand shoots out a viper, striking a rat. You grab a wheel of cheese. It's heavy, waxy, solid. You grab a fistful of barley bread. A dog barks. Your heart hammers against your ribs like a trapped bird. You freeze. Total immobility. The dog sniffs the air. A warrior turns, squinting into the gloom. He looks right at you, but he doesn't see you. He sees a shadow. He sees a trick of the firelight. You are part of the darkness now. Quiet, beast, the warrior mutters, throwing a bone to the hound. The dog settles. The warrior turns back to his wine. You exhale, a silent stream of air. You retreat, stepping backward into the gloom, clutching the prize to your chest. You scale the wall. You drop to the dirt on the other side. Only then do you run. You sprint back to the barracks, your bare feet flying over the stones, the adrenaline flooding your system with a high more potent than any wine. You find a dark corner, away from the prying eyes of the other boys who would steal from you just as you stole from the men, and you eat. You shove the cheese into your mouth in great, jagged chunks. You don't taste it. You devour it. You swallow the bread whole. It scratches your throat, but it feels like life. It feels like victory. You lick the grease from your fingers. You are still hungry, but the sharp stabbing pain is gone, replaced by a dull ache. You lie back on the reeds. You look at your hands. They are dirty, trembling, and scarred. But they are capable. You realize something tonight, something the Black Broth and the beatings could never teach you. The world belongs to the silent. The world belongs to the bold. The state starved you to make you weak, but in doing so, they forced you to find a strength that has nothing to do with muscle. They are turning you into a monster, yes, but you are their monster. And tomorrow night, you will go back. You won't just take cheese. You'll take the wine. You'll take the knife. You close your eyes. The door to your childhood is locked. But the window to the battlefield has just been pried open. The adrenaline of the night fades, replaced by the cold gray reality of the morning assembly. The sun bleeds over the Eurotas Valley, casting long, accusing shadows across the Dromos, the training track. You stand in the phalanx of boys, shoulder to shoulder, a wall of shivering skin and rough wool. You are not safe. In Sparta, you are never safe. Successful theft is only half the victory. The other half is the lie. You have to wear your innocence like a mask. You have to stand perfectly still, eyes forward, breathing in rhythm with 60 other boys, while the evidence of your crime burns against your skin. Today, the legend comes alive. We focus on a single boy in the line. He is 12. His name is lost to history, erased by the very act that made him immortal. Let's call him the Initiate. He stands in the front row. His face is a mask of stone, carved from the same granite as the statues of Apollo watching from the ridge. But beneath his cloak, chaos is waking up. He didn't steal cheese last night. He didn't steal bread. He found a fox cub, a snarling feral ball of muscle and teeth caught in a snare near the vineyard. It was meat. It was survival. In a moment of panic and greed, he didn't kill it. He shoved it, alive, inside his tunic, clutching it against his bare stomach to hide it as the patrol passed. Now he is trapped. The Paidonomos, the warden of the boys, walks down the line. He is an old veteran with a limp from Thermopylae and eyes that can spot a tick on a dog's ear from 50 paces. He stops. He stares at the Initiate. "You look pale, boy," the warden says. His voice is soft, dangerous. "I am fine, sir," the Initiate replies. His voice does not shake. His gaze does not waver. But under the cloak, the nightmare begins. The fox, pressed tight against the boy's warm flesh, panics. It smells the boy's sweat. It feels the crushing pressure of the arm holding it in place. It reacts the only way a wild animal knows how. It bites. The sensory shock is absolute. Imagine a rusted nail being driven into your abdomen. The fox's teeth, needle-sharp and serrated, sink deep into the soft tissue just above the boy's navel. The pain isn't a signal. It is a scream that echoes in the marrow of his bones. The boy does not flinch. If he moves, he reveals the theft. If he reveals the theft, he is not just beaten. He is shamed. He is branded a failure, a clumsy thief, a disgrace to his bloodline. In the twisted logic of the Agoge, physical agony is preferable to social death. To be eaten alive is better than to be laughed at. The warden narrows his eyes. He senses something. He steps closer, invading the boy's personal space. "You are trembling. It is the cold, sir." The boy lies. The fox thrashes. Its claws, curved daggers meant for digging burrows, begin to shred the skin of the boy's stomach. It is digging. It is trying to tunnel its way out of the dark, warm prison of the tunic. It rips through the abdominal wall. Can you feel it? The wet, hot slide of blood trickling down the groin? The tearing of muscle fiber, like old fabric pulling apart? The smell rises, the copper tang of fresh blood mixing with the musk of the animal. The boy locks his knees. He bites the inside of his cheek until he tastes his own blood, giving him a point of focus to distract from the butchery happening at his waist. He stares at the warden's forehead. He recites the laws of Lycurgus in his mind. Obedience, silence, endurance. The fox finds the liver. The pain transforms. It goes beyond sensation into a white-hot blindness. The boy's vision tunnels. The world turns gray. The sound of the wind in the olive trees sounds like a roar. But he stands. He stands because a Spartan does not yield. He stands because to fall is to admit that a beast is stronger than a man. The warden lingers. He smells it now. The scent of the slaughter. He looks down at the boy's feet. A dark red pool is forming in the dust, dripping steadily from the hem of the cloak. The warden looks back up into the boy's eyes. He sees the glaze of death creeping in. He sees the pupils dilating, blowing out like extinguished candles. And for the first time, the old soldier feels a flicker of something that isn't contempt. It is awe. "Dismissed," the warden whispers, stepping back. The boy nods. A curt, military jerk of the chin. He turns to walk away. He takes one step, two. He is holding his own entrails in with his left arm, the fox still gnawing, still burrowing. On the third step, the strings of the puppet are cut. The boy collapses. He hits the ground with the heavy, wet thud of a sack of meat. The cloak falls open. The horror is revealed to the morning light. The fox, blood-soaked and frantic, scampers out of the ruined cavity of the boy's torso and bolts for the tree line. The other boys break formation. They stare. They don't look away in disgust. They look with wide, unblinking eyes. They look at the ruin of his stomach, the white of his ribs exposed to the air. The boy is dead before his face hits the dirt. He died in agony, yes, but he died with his secret. He died without making a sound. He let a wild animal hollow him out rather than surrender his dignity. The warden stands over the body. He doesn't call for a medic. There's nothing to fix. He looks at the other 60 boys, who are watching the steam rise from their comrades' blood. "Look," the warden barks, his voice cracking like a whip. "Look at him!" He points a calloused finger at the corpse. "He was foolish to get caught," the warden says, kicking dust over the blood. "But he was a Spartan in the end. He conquered the pain. He conquered the fear. The beast took his life, but it did not take his honor. They burned the boy that evening. There are no tears. Mourning is for women, for Athenians." The boys of the Agoge watch the smoke rise and carry the smell of their brother up to the uncaring gods. They touch their own stomachs feeling the skin intact, and they make a silent vow. Next time, I will be faster. Next time, I will kill the fox first. Next time, I will not be the one on the pyre. The lesson is seared into their minds deeper than any whip mark. Pain is information. Suffering is a choice. And silence. Silence is the loudest sound a warrior can make. The smoke from the boy's pyre fades into the gray sky, but the smell of burnt meat clings to your cloak. It serves as a grim reminder. Death is the easy way out. The dead don't have to wake up tomorrow. The dead don't have to face the altar. You are still alive. And because you are alive, you are subject to the law. The fox boy died because he was perfect. He chose death over discovery. But most of you are not perfect. You are young, clumsy, starving animals. You knock over a vase in the dark. You step on a dry leaf. You let a sneeze escape while hiding in the pantry. And then the heavy hand of the Ephor lands on your shoulder. There is no trial. There is no jury. There is no debate about intent. In the Agoge, there is no such thing as an accident. There is only the mission and the failure. You were caught. That is the only sin that matters. You have proven yourself to be a liability. You have proven that you are not invisible. So, they drag you to the sanctuary of Artemis Orthia. It sounds holy, a temple to the goddess of the hunt. But as you are marched barefoot over the cobblestones, you realize this is not a place of worship. It is a slaughterhouse sanctified by incense. The air here is thick, humid, with a scent that never quite scrubs out of the stone, the copper reek of old dried blood layered over fresh hot splatter. The altar stands in the center. It is not piled with fruit or gold. It is piled with cheeses. It looks like a joke, a cruel, absurdist prank. Wheels of goat cheese, stacked high, glowing white in the sun. Your stomach, still cramping from hunger, twists at the sight. But you aren't looking at the food. You are looking at the men standing in a ring around it. They are the mastagophoroi, the whip-bearers. They hold lashes made of cured bull hide, thick as a man's thumb, knotted at the ends to tear rather than sting. They're not smiling. They're stretching their arms, limbering up like athletes before a discus throw. The ritual begins. It is called the diamastagosis. You and your cohort are lined up. The instruction is simple. Run the gauntlet. Steal the cheese. Survive. Go. You sprint. The moment you cross the threshold, the world dissolves into noise and pain. The whips crack a sound like dry wood snapping, and the leather bites into your back. It doesn't feel like a hit. It feels like a burn. It feels like someone has poured molten lead across your shoulders. You scramble toward the altar. The whip-bearers are relentless. They're not holding back. They're trying to stop you. They strike at your legs to hamstring you. They strike at your face to blind you. You reach the altar. You grab a cheese. Your hands are slick with sweat and blood. You turn to run back. This is the hardest part. You are tired now, your breath coming in ragged gasps, and they are waiting for you. A lash wraps around your ribs. The breath leaves your body. You stumble. You fall to your knees. Do not stay down. If you stay down, they will not stop. They will beat you until the pavement is slick. You have to crawl. You have to drag your body through the tunnel of lashes, clutching that ridiculous, pathetic prize of cheese against your chest as if it were the crown jewels. But the horror of Artemis Orthia is not the pain. Pain is just biology. The horror is the audience. Look up through the haze of your own tears. The amphitheater is full. The benches are packed with spectators. And they are not enemies. They're not foreign torturers. They're your parents. There's your mother. She is not weeping. She is not covering her eyes. She is leaning forward, her knuckles white on the stone railing. She is watching the whip tear a strip of skin from your back, and she is cheering. Harder. She screams, "Strike him! Make him worthy!" This is the psychological mutilation of Sparta. They sever the bond between parent and child and replace it with the bond between state and soldier. Your mother loves you, yes, but she loves Sparta more. If you flinch, if you cry out for mercy, she will not pity you. She will be ashamed to have birthed you. She would rather see you dead on this altar than see you weak. High above the chaos, the priestess of Artemis stands. She holds the sacred wooden statue of the goddess in her arms. It is an ancient, primitive thing, darkened by centuries of smoke. She watches the flogging with dead eyes. Legend says that the statue becomes heavy in her arms if the whippers are being too gentle. If she feels the weight increase, she cries out, "The goddess is burdened! Strike harder! The blood does not flow freely enough." And the whip-bearers, fearing the wrath of the divine, double their efforts. They swing with the full rotation of their hips, driving the knots deep into the muscle, aiming for the bone. The ground turns slippery. You can smell it now, the iron tang of the diamastigosis. It coats the back of your throat. You finally cross the finish line, collapsing into the dust outside the ring. You have the cheese. It is mashed, ruined, soaked in your own blood. You don't eat it. You can't eat. You just heave, dry retching, your back a tapestry of fire. A medic, an older boy, comes over. He doesn't offer comfort. He dumps a bucket of salt water over your back. The scream dies in your throat because you have no air left to scream with. The salt cauterizes the wounds. It prevents infection, yes, but it is one last kiss of agony from the state. You look up at the other boys. Some are unconscious. Some are weeping silently. But the ones who are standing, they are different now. They look at each other with a terrifying understanding. They have survived the worst the world can do to them. They have been flayed by their own people, cheered on by their own mothers, and judged by their own gods. You run a hand over your chest. You are still whole. The pain is receding, settling into a dull, throbbing rhythm that matches your heartbeat. You realize the truth of the altar. It wasn't a punishment, it was a filter. The weak broke. The soft gave up. The clumsy died. But you are still here. You are harder than the leather. You are harder than the stone. You are beginning to understand that flesh is just a uniform, and uniforms can be mended. The floggings will stop eventually, but the scars on your back will remain forever a map of the territory you conquered. A warning to anyone who sees you in the bathhouse for the rest of your life. Do not strike this man. He has already been killed, and he refused to die. The scars on your back have stopped itching. They have settled into thick, white ridges of dead tissue, a permanent armor plating gifted by the state. You are 18 years old now. You are no longer the trembling child crying over a bowl of black broth. You are a block of granite, chiseled by starvation and polished by pain. But the Agoge is not done with you. The whip taught you endurance. The theft taught you stealth. But those were just games. Stealing cheese is a crime of survival. Now, the ephors demand a crime of dominance. They call you out of the barracks at midnight. There is no formation, just a nod from the commander. He hands you a single object. It is not a shield. It is not a spear. It is a zeal, a small curved dagger. It is a coward's weapon. It is short, concealable, and designed for one thing, cutting soft tissue at close range. Go, the commander whispers. The countryside is yours. Do not let us see you. Do not let them see you. This is the Crypteia, the secret service, the final bloody exam of the Spartan education. You walk out of the city, not as a soldier marching to war, but as a ghost slipping into the ether. You carry no pack. You wear no sandals. You have only your cloak and your knife. You are entering the Crypteia, the hidden things. Your destination is the Eurotas Valley, the fertile heartland where the helots toil. The helots are the slaves of Sparta. They farm the land, tend the herds, and build the walls. They outnumber you 7-1. They are strong men, hardened by labor, fueled by a generational hatred for your people. If they ever rose up as one, Sparta would burn in a day. So, the state has given you a simple directive: cull the herd. Every autumn, the Ephors ritually declare war on the helot population. This is a legal loophole. It means that killing a helot is not murder. It is an act of war. It is not a sin. It is a sacrament. You find a ditch near a major road and bury yourself in the leaves. You wait. The sun rises, baking the earth, insects crawling over your eyelids. You do not move. You urinate where you lie. You watch the helots working in the fields. You are not looking for the weak. You are not looking for the old or the sick. You are looking for the best of them. You scan the rows of men harvesting wheat. There. See him? The tall one. The one with shoulders like an ox and a fire in his eyes. The one who laughs too loudly. The one the other helots look to when the overseer isn't watching. He is a leader. He is a tall poppy. And because he is strong, he must die. The sun sets. The world turns blue, then black. The helots return to their huts. The silence of the Laconian countryside is heavy, broken only by the chirping of crickets and the distant lowing of cattle. You rise from the dirt. Your limbs are stiff, but your blood is hot. You creep toward the slave quarters. The stealth you learned stealing barley bread is now a matter of life and death. If you are caught here, the helots will not whip you. They will tear you apart with their bare hands. They will feed you to the pigs, and the state will not avenge you. The state will disavow you. You will die a failure. You reach the target's hut. It is a mud brick hovel with a thatched roof. You can hear the heavy breathing of sleep inside. You slip through the doorway. The smell hits you: unwashed bodies, stale smoke, the musk of poverty. Your eyes, adjusted to the pitch black, pick out the shape on the pallet. It is him, the strong one. He is sleeping on his back, his neck exposed. A trusting, human posture. You step closer. Your bare foot finds a patch of silence on the dirt floor. You are standing over him now. You can feel the heat radiating from his body. You are close enough to count the pulses in his jugular vein. This is the moment. The impossible choice from your childhood is gone. There is no choice. There is only the knife. You don't hesitate. You don't think about his family sleeping in the corner. You don't think about his humanity. You think about Sparta. You drop your weight. You clamp your left hand over his mouth hard, sealing the scream behind his lips. At the same exact second, your right hand drives the zeal into his neck. It is not like stabbing a training dummy. It is wet. It is resistant. You feel the pop of the skin, the grind of the blade against the windpipe, the hot, sudden geyser of arterial blood washing over your hand. He thrashes. He is strong, terrifyingly strong. His hands fly up, clawing at your arms, gripping your tunic. His eyes fly open, wide with the ultimate terror of a man waking up to his own death. You look into those eyes. You see the light fading. You see the confusion. You hold him down. You are the anchor. You twist the blade. The thrashing slows. The grip on your arm loosens. The light in his eyes flickers and goes out. The only sound is the wet gurgle of his last breath bubbling through the ruin of his throat. Silence returns to the hut. You stand up. You are covered in blood. It soaks your chest, your arms, your face. It is warm, sticky, and smells of iron. You look at the man you just killed. He was a farmer. He was a slave. He never held a weapon against you. But in the eyes of the Agoge, He was the most dangerous thing in the world, a threat to the order. You wipe your blade on his tunic. You do not feel guilt. You check your internal emotional landscape for horror, for sadness, for regret. You find nothing. You find only a cold, quiet satisfaction. You did your job. You culled the herd. You bought Sparta another year of safety. You slip back out into the night. The cool air hits your blood-soaked skin, chilling you. You begin the long run back to the city. As you run under the starlight, you realize the transformation is complete. The boy who stole cheese is dead. The boy who cried for his mother is dead. The thing running through the dark is a predator. You are no longer a citizen. You are a weapon, a tool of state terror. You have crossed the line that separates men from monsters, and you found that the other side is quiet. It is efficient, and you are good at it. The blood of the Helot has long since washed off your hands. You are 20 years old now. You are no longer a boy, no longer a thief, no longer a shadow creeping through the slave quarters. You have graduated. You are homoioi and equal. You are a brick in the red wall of Sparta. You stand on the hot dust of a foreign plain, perhaps Thermopylae, perhaps Plataea. The sun beats down on your bronze helmet, turning the air inside into a stifling oven. The weight of the Aspis shield pulls at your shoulder, 40 pounds of oak and bronze. Across the field, the enemy is screaming. Look at them. They are Athenians, or Thebans, or Persians. They are chanting, banging their spears against their shields, working themselves into a frenzy. They need the noise. They need the adrenaline to drown out their fear. They are soft men. They grew up with full bellies. They grew up with mothers who held them when they cried. They are fighting for land, or for gold, or for politics. You are silent. This is the terror of the Spartan phalanx. You do not scream. You do not chant. You and the 8,000 men beside you stand in a silence so profound, so unnatural, that it freezes the blood of the men across the field. You are not psyching yourself up for violence. You have lived in violence since you were 7 years old. The enemy general looks at your line and sees soldiers. But he is wrong. He is looking at survivors. Every man in your rank has been starved. Every man has stolen to eat. Every man has been flayed at the altar of Artemis. Every man has murdered in the dark. The Agoge stripped away your humanity layer by layer, peeling off the fear, the hesitation, and the ego until all that was left was the function. A flute begins to play, high, shrill, and terrifyingly calm. It is the signal. The phalanx moves. You do not charge. You walk. A slow, rhythmic, grinding advance. The sound of thousands of sandals hitting the earth in perfect unison sounds like the heartbeat of a giant. This is where the thieving pays off. You remember the night spent crawling over dry leaves, placing your weight on the outside of your foot to avoid a sound. That same biomechanical perfection now keeps you in perfect lockstep with the man to your right. You are not an individual anymore. You are a single scale on a dragon. The enemy breaks their run. They hesitate. They see that you aren't afraid. They realize, too late, that they are not fighting men. They are fighting a machine that runs on blood. The lines meet. The sound is the end of the world, bronze smashing into bronze, wood shattering, ribs cracking. The breath is knocked out of you. The man behind you shoves his shield into your back, pinning you against the enemy. It is a crushing press, a meat grinder. A spear tip slides past your guard. It gouges your thigh. The Athenian who stabbed you grins, expecting you to flinch, to drop your guard, to scream. But you don't flinch. You barely feel it. Your brain registers the pain, categorizes it, and dismisses it. Is it an artery? No. Is the bone broken? No. Keep fighting. You remember the altar of Artemis Orthia. You remember the whip tearing the skin off your back while your mother cheered. You remember the salt water. Compared to that, this scratch is nothing. The Agoge destroyed your ability to panic over pain. You look at the Athenian. He is confused. He sees your eyes behind the helmet slits. They are dead eyes. Flat. Bored. You thrust. Your spear, the dory, moves with the speed of the snake that bit the boy in the vineyard. It finds the gap in the enemy's armor, the throat, the groin, the armpit. You drive it home with the mechanic efficiency of a butcher. You twist. You pull back. You step forward over the body. The man next to you falls, his face a ruin of iron and bone. You do not mourn him. You do not stop to help him. You close the gap. The wall must remain unbroken. The shield is more important than the brother. This is the ultimate secret of the Agoge. It wasn't about teaching you how to fight. Anyone can learn to hold a spear. It was about teaching you how to suffer. War is not glory. War is hunger. War is exhaustion. War is standing in your own filth for 3 days while the enemy tries to kill you. The Athenian soldier breaks because he is hungry. You have been hungry for a decade. The Persian soldier breaks because he misses his bed. You have slept on reeds and rocks your whole life. You possess the ultimate weapon. You cannot be demoralized because you have no morale to lose. You are already broken, and a broken thing cannot be broken again. The battle drags on for hours. The sun dips low. The enemy line begins to crumble. Their arms are tired. Their spirits are crushed by the silent, rhythmic slaughter of your advance. They turn. They run. You do not chase them like a rabid dog. You halt. The flute plays a single, low note. You lower your spear. You stand amidst the carpet of the dead bodies, twisted in agony, limbs severed, the earth turning into a red mud. You are covered in gore, sweat, and dust. You are thirsty, but you do not drink. You are bleeding, but you do not bind the wound. You look at the sunset. You feel the cool wind on your face, just as you felt it the night you stole the cheese, just as you felt it the night you killed the helot. The Agoge lied to you. They told you they were making you a warrior. They told you they were making you a hero. They did neither. They made you a ghost, a creature that walks between the world of the living and the world of the dead, belonging to neither. You have no self. You have no fear. You have no future. You only have the line. And as the darkness falls over the battlefield, you realize that the boy who walked through the heavy oak doors 10 years ago never really came out. He died in the barracks. He died in the mountains. He died on the altar. What stands here now is something else entirely, something pure, something terrible. You are Sparta, and you will never, ever stop.